Hi, and welcome back to my series on the Cranmer Abacus. And in this episode, I'm going to focus on two important procedures, and these are the procedures or the concepts of setting and clearing. Now, but before that, it is important for our learners to be able to identify the separation bar because it's crucial in performing these two procedures. Now, the horizontal bar is this bar, as its name suggests, it's really horizontal, and it has some uh, markers here, and it is in the upper one third of the abacus. Now, this separation bar is very important in determining the positions of the beads. No? So, at first, the bead should be at their original position. When we say original position, the beads in the lower abacus should be pushed down, and the beads in the upper abacus should be on top, should be pushed up. No, so when the beads are in the original position, we say that the beads are in the clear mode, or other references would say that the beads are being reset. So it is important that we have all the beads in clear or reset mode before we perform uh, any operations, or before we do anything on our abacus. Now, when we move our beads closer to the separation bar, the beads will be acquiring a specific value. So in this case, if we move our lower beads, I'm now on the first rod, which is the ones rod. If I move two beads near or towards the separation bar and move two beads, these two beads are now acquiring a value. Now, when beads are moved towards the separation bar, these beads are said to be set. So we have set the two beads. Now, when we set, the beads acquire a value. In this case, since we are on the ones rod, these two beads, the value of each bead is simply 1. Therefore, these two beads, the value of these two beads is 2. Now, if I move these beads back to their original position, what I'm doing is clearing. So I hope it's clear. When we move the beads, I move these two beads back to the original position, then the beads are said to be cleared, no? Or I've just done clearing. So when beads are cleared, they are, or they're losing their value. So these two operations, or these two procedures, rather, are opposite. When we set, the beads acquire a value. When we clear, the beads lose their value. Now, when I move a bead on the upper abacus, the bead, which is just one bead, and each bead here has a value of 5. Say I move the bead on the second rod, which is the 10th rod. I move this single bead here on the upper abacus, and when I say move, it is being pushed down by my right index finger towards the separation bar. Now, in this case, this bead acquires a value. And since it is on the 10th rod, the value of this bead is 50. Because every value here on the upper abacus is 5. But since we are on the 10th rod, this is not just 5, but this is 50. And if I clear this bead, I clear it with my thumb, it loses its value. So that is setting and clearing. Now, if I set 3 beads on the third rod in the lower abacus, so that should be third rod, this is the hundredth rod, 3 beads, 1, 2, 3. So I have set 3 beads, but this is the value of these 3 beads is not just 3, but 300, because I am now on the hundreds column, hundreds rod. Now, if I set another bead, and that would be on the upper abacus, the single bead on the first rod, the ones rod. Now, this single bead acquires a value of 5, and since it is just on the ones rod. Now, having set these beads, I have now a value of 300, and you have 5, so that's 305. Now, to clear, I can clear using my right index for the lower abacus and right thumb. So that's it for setting and clearing. I hope you learned something from this video. Please take time to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and God bless us all.